Which of the targets are your favorites?
I like the 3D targets because I like looking at the different anatomy of the torso, of learning and understanding the depth. I like the fact that you can use paint very quickly. So if you're working in a wet environment or a windy environment, you don't have to worry about paper blowing around on you. Also gets people away from that marksmanship target practice and gets them into more engagement realities on it. You can also hit the 3D targets at different angles. That's no longer just straight. I actually like to stack different targets and color sequences so that we have shoots and no shoots.
Why is that important for law enforcement?
Well, for law enforcement, learning the art of actually, not the art, but not just shooting, but actually learning how to fight in gunfighting, you have to get a better representation of anatomy. So anything that can inoculate you off the paper target is better. So in the past, when you started getting people like from snipers or other, they would use mannequins or others to develop that more of a reality. That they shoot fruit, they shoot other things to get anything off paper. So this is a better way to get off paper. It's reusable, which I like. I put a lot of rounds through it. Also for using carbine, which has a lot of blowback, you can rip your paper off real quick if you're shooting within 2-3 yards from it. So with this, you can get contact, you can get right up to it and you won't have that blowback, or possibility of destroying paper or have to worry about steel and having any splash hit you or hurt you. So some of the training with steel with rifle or carbine has to be a 25-yard spray for a lot of ranges for safety, which is definitely understandable. But with this, you can definitely push it to contact range with carbine. So you can definitely get a lot better training. I still think steel is very important, using reactive steel. But once again, people start taking steel into a game. Same thing with paper. They start working games out of it and they're not understanding the practical side of gunfighting. They're looking for the target shooting. So
why do you prefer reactive targets on the steel side compared to just steel plates?
It depends. Like, you have to use both. The reason we interchange both is because sometimes we just want body shots. Reactive target is to kind of push the guys from being good shooters to being precision shooters when under some stress. So if you have a reactive target, you have to either hit the vital organ area or you have to hit the headshot, as far as like a hostage or something like that. Kind of helps you dial that in. Other than that, steel is steel. It's always great representation to hear the immediate reaction of I'm on target, I hit it. So I think like I said, the only benefit of a reactive target is if you're looking for precision, but if you're looking just for gunfighting, steel is perfect. So good quality, still good angles, so it doesn't splash.
And what's the benefit of steel over paper?
Downtime beyond 25 yards, or if you're running pistol, obviously you can be somewhat closer. But for rifle and all that, depending on what stage of training you're at, if you're beyond the marksmanship training and now you're into the gunfighting, I don't really care how close my group is if we're working on scenarios of gunfighting from distance. And so to me, I just want to know that you can hit within the area that is acceptable. Misses are not acceptable. Hitting is acceptable. So when you're on paper, people get kind of, because everybody's kind of competitive, they start looking at their spread on paper and don't realize those are actually good shots or combat shots. But on paper, you start slowing things down because your groups want to be real close, but that's not reality for combat shooting. So there's a difference from going from precision or to a combat shooting platform, and steel helps you do that quicker.
And why have you used Mr. Target targets versus other brands?
Kind of like anything else. I've used MGM targets in the beginning, but they're not in Arizona. Mr. Target was in Arizona, very accessible, and gave me the opportunity to work with him and even discuss any things that I saw as positive or negative in the product early on in the R&D. So anything I wanted, he would sit there and try to see if we can implement it. I like the fact that these targets are easily stackable. I drive a truck, but if you happen to have a car, you can stack a lot of these targets and be able to drive them around. So you can manage the weight and the flexibility of using these. So that was critical for me, was the ability to stack them. So I like how the bases, everything stacked together.